Hello, everybody. I'm Jake,
I'm Hannah. Hello.
and we're doing the questions. I asked you on Twitter, so you gotta follow me on Twitter at Papa Jake, or sometimes I don't pick a shit. And in this case, we picked 8 wonderful, beautiful, thoughtful questions from excellent fans. From all, it still looks like pee. It still looks like pee to me. It looks more like pee than it did before. I think when you take the tea bag out, it just looks like you have a... Because it's got measurements, too. It just looks like you peed in that. It looks like it's a medical thing. And it's your gamer girl pee. Wow.
Needs more asparagus.
Acrid. Okay, so... first question comes from...
Shut-in Gamer. Shut-in Gamer says, what kind of mental training do you go through to be able to keep up and just demolish people who try and shuck you on a daily basis? I see so many people step up and then an hour later, quote, tweet is not available follows.
I do no mental training for my dumbassery on Twitter. It's all natural, baby, okay? Everything I say is... I have never said a wrong thing. I've never messed up with... I've never messed up a thing. I'm only ever, obviously, been the best at Twitter, of course. So, no, I'm terrible at things all the time. But, no, I don't mentally prepare. I don't know. I think it's an important lesson to learn that if you are being yelled at by a dum-dum on the internet, that person wants one of two things. Number one, they want you to acquiesce to their bullshit. Or number 2, they want to take up your attention. So what I do is, I make them feel like they're worthless. So just make them feel like they're worthless. Because they are. Because they're fucking worthless. That's the truth. Oh, you fucking... You know, maybe not to their family, but most likely, okay? That's how you gotta treat them, because they're just being assholes. Like, you're fucking, I don't know, I had someone mention the other day, that was like, it was like, just brought up like the Jewish question out of nowhere. What fucking kind of interaction am I gonna have with that? What the fuck's gonna happen here? Like, you could tell when someone's in good faith, like, oh, how do you feel about this? Just talk to that person like a normal human. But if someone comes at you and is like, you don't understand fucking Bitcoin, you're a loser, like, no, I'm gonna take a picture of you while I'm taking I'm gonna take a selfie on the toilet and send it to that person. And I have done this before, not showing my bits or anything. Just I'm usually pooping when I watch Twitter. This is how it works. Don't engage with these people in good faith that they're coming at you with dog shit. You can also mute, which I also do after I stir the pot. I'll be like, I'll say something that I know will make them mad. I'll look at their bio a little bit. I'll go down their history, and I'll be like, oh, this person's obviously like a fucking like Nazi. And I'll just say something that's gonna make them mad, and I'll mute the thread and let everybody else go after it, because that person just wants my time. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. Sometimes they get it, but only because it's fun to play with that kind of thing.
We have very different strategies when engaging.
You get abused, though. Like, it's not how your experience is vastly different than my experience. They're like, no, you're a fatty, and that doesn't fucking hurt me. I had an abusive dad. You could never hurt me. Like, I'm immune to this kind of shit. You have a very vastly different experience. If you don't have the bandwidth for what I do, please don't do that. Just ignore them. Do your own thing. But you should ask how I mentally prepare. I don't. I just fucking, I hurt them, and then I leave. You, on the other hand, you got the time for that shit. You're busy vibing out. You're doing Baja things. You're over there watching God's Not Dead again. Or a Marvel movie, wearing your Power Ranger helmet. Being rad.
I don't sit around wearing the Power Ranger helmet.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
I have probably worn that helmet.
Wow, the fact that you could... Come on, that's too many times.
I think I've worn that helmet 3 times.
The first time you got it.
Yeah.
The first time you showed me.
Okay.
This last one's spicy, probably, and I don't want to know that.
It's not a sex thing!
It doesn't have to be sex, it's just spicy. Anyway, how are you gonna... You could answer the question.
I tend to just engage with people in... It depends on the conversation. If it's someone that I genuinely think isn't in good faith, and especially if it's someone just insulting me for being trans or the way I look or whatever, I just don't engage with them. But if it's someone who's genuinely, like I had someone on the stream the other day who's a conspiracy theorist who believes that Satanists in the government are behind Epstein. Now, did I expect it for productive conversation? No. But I engaged with him in as good of faith as I could because he appeared to be doing the same. And did I make fun of him? Sure, but not like in a mean way.
This was Twitter. This was Twitter specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, no. If someone comes to you good faith,
people in earnest.
No,
if I think they're not, I'll just ignore them.
True.
I don't know.
I have an open door policy on my stream, and I will engage with you in good faith as long as you can fucking keep yourself under control. Right?
Yeah.
Like, when you start yelling and using slurs and shit, you're done. But, like that Christian guy the other day who just, like, clearly was off the rails at a certain point. There was no reason to take him seriously. But there's people from time to time, absolutely, that I don't. Yeah, but that was different. This question was specifically about, like, they say something dumb in my mentions, and I'll quote tweet them or something, and then they delete the tweet. Like, that was, and their whole account, which happens a lot. Because they come in here with, like, really dumb shit. Or they say stuff that, like, has no basis whatsoever. I don't know. But yeah, if people are asking in good faith, you can usually tell. Like, hey, I really genuinely believe this thing. Definitely. But if you don't have the bandwidth for it, just mute that shit. Don't worry about it. People get stressed out about that stuff. I don't, but I understand why you might, because it could be a lot. Anyway, next question.
Harvey Manfred Jinsenden asked, you have $100 million budget to make a movie about a historical figure and or event. What do you pick and who do you cast have direct? $100 million for a historical epic's pretty good.
Yeah. I have floated this idea before in the past, but we need to workshop this a little bit. But really what this is I want the sexual exploits of Benjamin Franklin on film for all to see. Historically accurate and as close as we can get. Who's playing that guy, though? Who's, like, Paul Giamatti? I don't want to see him hump, so it's got to be someone that you kind of want to see hump, but not like
sexy Ben Franklin.
But not too much. I don't want it to be, can't be like, I don't know, a hunk. It's got to be like dad bod, but like.
It just wait? Oh, hold on. Let me clarify. Is this just sexual escapades, or is it like broken up with like I got to go to the Constitutional Convention, full penetration?
Whoa! No. It's not X-rated. No. It's R-rated, and I'm thinking we could do it a little bit like I don't know, 50 First Dates, except it's 50 different prostitutes. Because he was a philanderer. That guy spread. There's probably a lot more people that are related to Benjamin Franklin that don't realize it. The guy was the Genghis Khan of his time. He fucked a lot. But yeah, I don't know what the backdrop is, but I feel like maybe like he's got a fuck date. Like, and it was before Tinder time, and he was really famous, so that's just kind of how it worked for him. And then, but also he has, like, responsibilities. I don't know, it'd be a like, comedy movie, but who plays him? Jack Black? I don't want to see him hump either. I don't know who it would be. You got like a...
I got nothing.
Wow,
in terms of
I'm trying to think.
Slightly sexy Ben Franklin.
If I type in just fat actors...
Tom Hanks? Can Tom Hanks
No, Val Kilmer. It's Val Kilmer. Yeah. It's Val. It's 100%. Look at, oh my goodness gracious. Look, oh my God, that is a, yeah, that's Ben Franklin as fuck. You can't see this right now, but they can. That's all that matters. Wowzers. Just put some spectacles on this guy. Actually, I could probably, no, I won't take up your time. But yeah, just imagine spectacles. Val Kilmer humping a little bit. I'm winning an Oscar. I'm writing that movie. Seth Rogen, hit me up if you want to make this movie. I don't think Seth is going to contact me. I think this is a winner, though.
I want to see a movie about ancient Samaria. Has there been an ancient Samaria movie?
Is there humping?
There can be humping. It could be Ben Franklin. It could be time-traveling Ben Franklin.
Hold on, wait. Actually, you might be onto something. Where in time is Benjamin Franklin? The man who fucked the world.
The man who fucked time.
The man who fucked time. Yes.
When he did the key kite experiment.
Oh, and then he goes back into...
It sends him back in time to hump.
It needs to be a buddy cop film, though. There needs to be a number 2. And it's got to be just some Sumerian guy. Hammurabi. There we go. We fucking nailed it. Boom. All right. Crushed it. This is why we collaborate. All right.
All the debauchery that Ben Franklin gets up to inspires Hammurabi to start writing rules about things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a better version of Year One.
Okay.
The movie with Jack
That's a
Black
low bar.
Right, I know, and that's fine, because I think it made profit. That's all we need. It's just like Stunks. Anyway.
Bree asks, what's the fanciest recipe you know?
I want you to answer first because it's going to make me look a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah, this is about me. This is my ego right now.
I can make tacos.
That's wait. I actually thought you might say like, I can roast some chicken. I can make a beef Wellington. So I mean, like,
no,
that's the fanciest thing in the world, right?
I roasted a turkey once and it was terrible and bland.
You had to brine it. Got to put that shit in a bucket and brine it. I can teach you, but there's also DoorDash for you, so it's fine. If society collapses, I'll teach you. Okay. Or if you're just ever interested, I would love to teach you how to brine a turkey.
Okay, when society collapses, it is.
That's what I thought. But yeah, I can make a beef Wellington. If you follow me on Twitter, somewhere in my camera roll is a picture of a beef Wellington. I'm not going to flex that right now, but it was delicious. It was also way too expensive, and I probably won't make it in any time in the future. Even though I can afford it, it's not something that you should just, like, I don't know, too much of a great thing is it's gonna become like the pizza roll. If you don't know what a beef Wellington is, just look it up, okay? Gordon Ramsay, all right, prides himself on his Wellington. And I crushed this shit. First time ever. I was very proud of that. That's a hard fucking thing to do. The dough has to be right. It's all very important. Anyway, so that is the fanciest thing I can cook. Probably. I can also make risotto, which isn't that hard. It's just takes time. Yeah, that's probably technically the hardest thing I know how to make. So, next up.
Darth Hayes asks, what do you think of older people using the whole I'm older, therefore I know more about the world argument to someone who's young?
This is contextual. Like,
sure.
If they're trying to tell you how your lived experience is because they're older, they're wrong and dumb. However, there are things, as a person who has grown in age over time, like, 18-year-old me is a dumbass. Like, that person's just stupid. And if you don't think the person you were 10 years ago is dumb in some way, you probably haven't improved enough. And that's a good thing. Like, there is some stuff that you just learn through experience. Some things like this, for example, will be perspective on relationships is a very good thing that I think a lot of people learn as they age. We just get more time on it. Like, the first time you break up with someone, it's like the end of the fucking world. Or, you have your first long-term relationship that ends, and it's just like fucking rocks your entire universe. Those things you don't become cold to them, but they don't have the same sting as the first big times that those things happen. Similarly with falling in love, it's a much more like, it's less hormonal, I suppose, and you're not just trying to, like, I don't know, it's less manic. Like, it's just less urgent. It's more of like a, I just really fucking like this person, like, a lot.
Yeah.
It's more of like a comfort and fit sort of thing when you age, rather than this, like domination of your thoughts, in my opinion. Some people might experience this differently, of course, but I think perspective, just perspective in general, like being able to contextualize your life and being able to be a little bit more introspective and sort of understand yourself better. Those types of conversations when you have people, like when they go, when you're older, you'll kind of understand a little bit more how this feels. They're probably right about that, but not because they will. Some people might not communicate this correctly. Not because they know how you're going to feel, but they know that you'll know more accurately how you feel. Does that make sense? Do you have anything to
Yeah,
add to this?
I think part of the issue is like
It's
if you are someone who's older, instead of saying, "Well, I'm older and I know
Right.
better," explain how you know better. If you genuinely do, then say like, I've been in a lot of relationships and I've learned this, and that.
Yeah.
Don't just say, "I'm older, I know better." You should automatically assume. You should be able to explain yourself regardless of what age you're at, instead of trying to take a shortcut to just say, "Well, I'm older, so I know better," because that doesn't always apply.
Yeah, and that doesn't really have anything to do with age. It just has to do with
experience.
Yeah, that naturally coincides with age, but like some people might not have the same experiences at different ages. So, yeah, there's minor validity to that, but usually not in the way it's applied. Usually it's someone trying to tell you how to live your fucking life, and that's not like accurate. So if the advice usually should be more constructive than it is denigrating whatever choice you're trying to make, but that's usually not how it manifests. So yeah, I think that's probably good. That's probably good. That person asked genuinely, so I want to make sure we get it. I think we nailed it. Crushed it. Best life advice you ever got. Next one!
Jerfy asks, what is one or some of your winter comfort meals, if you have any? Mine might be a turkey pastrami Reuben on thick rye or tomato soup with grilled cheese.
Tomatoey soup with grilled cheese. That's definitely one of my comfort meals. I really like the smell of I like to bake chicken a lot. I really love the smell of chicken just permeating throughout the house with the thyme or rosemary or garlic or whatever you got going on. I really like that. Maybe I make chili from time to time. That's always nice. It's very Midwestern of me, but I don't know, what's a comfort? Man, I'm just feeling shitty. I need something to ground me a little bit.
For me, oh man, you know what's good? Getting a really good sandwich, and not I don't mean just a normal grilled cheese on white bread. I mean go and getting Neapolitano bread or some kind of really long bread, getting some good ham or whatever, and some cheese and some other stuff. Yeah, you stick that in the oven and you have it done, and then you put it together. That with maybe some soup. That's real good.
What's the go-to
and I know
soup?
I repeated a little bit of your answer, but probably, I really like chicken and dumpling soup.
Ooh,
but
good soup.
I also tomato or tomato bisque for the sandwich because you can dip.
The tomato bisque from we have a place nearby that's a small chain called Harvey's, and they make a fucking great tomato bisque.
Yeah.
I could drink buckets of that and then throw up. It's so good. It's really, really good. Yeah, tomato bisque. I really like tomatoes in general. You know what's another one? This isn't a wintertime thing necessarily. This is mostly summertime, but definitely all year is a toasted tomato sandwich. I make probably 3 dozen of those a year, maybe more, and eat those, which is just toast, a little bit of mayo, not too much. People like to get too saucy. Tomatoes are already a little bit that. Just a little bit of mayo just for the flavor. I am Caucasian. Salt, pepper on thin slices of tomato, and then you cut it diagonally across that, and it shouldn't be too hard to where it's crispy. It just enough to give you a little bit of texture on the outside. It should soak in the tomato a little bit. If you like tomatoes, I strongly suggest that sandwich. It's just so nice. It's just like BLT without the L or the T. BLTs are also nice, but I don't make a lot of them. I probably, I don't know, 4 a year maybe. Something like that. How many BLTs do you crush a year?
I don't eat BLTs.
Do you like BLs?
No.
B's.
I'm just remembering back when we worked at a particular restaurant, there was someone who worked there also who would order the BLT, but without the lettuce and the tomato extra B.
Was that the guy that sold drugs?
No, it was a woman who was a shift manager, I think.
Oh, I don't like her. Yeah,
it was the unhealthiest sandwich ever. It was 10 slices of bacon and cheese.
I recall, yes,
toasted, and she had it every single day.
Yeah, that's a lot of bacon. That's too. I don't like bacon that much. I like bacon, but not that much.
I like bacon as like a little bit,
It's
a
like a
little
treat.
dabble do ya. A little tiny bit of bacon for like texture and
Yeah.
the smoky flavor. But oh my god, so much bacon stuff is just like, we fucked this bacon into this food. It now primarily tastes of bacon. Eat it. And it's like, oh god, you missed the point.
All right, next one.
Low energy videos says, Jake, do you have any long-term hopes for the channel, like some goal that may be doable but it would require a lot of work and prep, or is just growing like a mighty stalk of corn the only go? I wish both Godspeed. Also, Jake cooking and clock maintenance videos when. This is in regard to Jake's channel, Actual Jake, or is it Papa Bird Jake? Which one is it on YouTube?
Actual Jake on Twitch. Papa Bird Jake's the Twitter I can't change.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Actual Jake. My long-term goal for it is kind of the goal I have now, but just getting improving the production. I'm actually working on improving the production right now. In fact, I can show it to you right now. This is what it usually looks like when you have that. We have pride flags on the side there. Got my little pup and my little kitty cat below that. I have a birthday cake because sometimes when people's birthdays are out, that's it. Chat is in the bottom right there. You can see the cornfield to the left. We do all sorts of really fun stuff. So this is kind of what it looks like. Top donators get to pick their pride flag. We have all sorts of them, which is kind of fun. I would like to get a few more of these. Like you can see, we change them out, and we have all sorts of different ones. So just because we tend to have a pretty decent size LGBT plus community, and it became a thing, and they seem to really be jacked about it. And you can nominate other people's flags or whatever, but I have some plans to make it pretty wild. I don't want to spoil anything. I got some plans. The backdrop will change. I'm probably gonna take a week off sometime in the spring when it's nice and warm out. I can open the windows. And I think I'm going to invest heavily into redoing this space. Because I didn't plan on having Twitch as a career. This was my editing cave, and then it changed rapidly as Twitch became just like a really fantastic space. So really my long-term goal for that specific channel, for my own personal thing, is to use that as a place where we can have a nice community that has more political discourse than we usually have on here, which I think is important. A little more activism type stuff, and we do things from time to time, whether it's charity, whether it's just helping out someone in the community directly. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I have in I think the next question, or maybe I might have skipped it, but if we don't talk about it, I'll bring it up. Working on like mutual aid things, and kind of like the things that are really important to me are obviously healthcare, which I can't really do a lot about besides GoFundMe support, which we do. We've actually done 2 GoFundMe supports in the last 2 weeks, raising tons of money for people, which has been fantastic. Just impromptu as well, not even planned. Mostly though, in our county, or in our city, there's actually like a 36% poverty rate, which is double the national average. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of food insecurity in our city, and I would like to be able to address food insecurity, because I don't foresee at any point in the future our government really dealing with food insecurity in any meaningful way. So yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like long-term, like co-op type stuff. Would love like communal gardens and like trying to spread out enough food around here for the low-income population. That's obviously super long-term, but I don't need a lot in life. I'm pretty happy with like my little lot that I got going on. I'm not looking to just make a fuckload of money here. And at a certain point, I'm going to make too much money, if the pace continues, which I don't know if it's going to, but if it does, the plan is to reinvest that in community and hopefully mutual aid stuff. I might expand on that a little bit, but that's really my long-term goal, which sounds altruistic, and it kind of is, but it's also a little... I don't like the idea of us having this platform forever and not having like a legacy that sort of like is broader than just like
dick jokes.
Yeah, I'd like to, I mean, that wasn't the goal at the beginning. Like, the goal at the beginning was just to hang out with you and be funny, and that's still the goal when we record and stuff. But I like the idea of, like, us being able to do things and help people. I think there's a little bit of responsibility that content creators have that I don't think they place on themselves, which I think it might behoove them. Like Mr. Beast does kind of stuff like this, but that dude has so much fucking money it doesn't really matter. It's like dropped in the bucket kind of things, and he's like making a national food chain, which is making him more money. But he does it a little altruistically, but much smaller scale than that. I'm talking like buying in programs for people and like really cheap meals and I don't know, helping homelessness. So next question.
Floppy Fish, if you could devote yourself to one activist passion project entirely without needing to succeed to gain satisfaction, what would it be and why?
And that's what I thought I had picked. I'm glad I did. So this is that, and I wanted to see if you had any of these too. And it might be different, but I don't know what success means in this case. I assume that means like I would make a bunch of money or something, or be very comfortable because of it or something. That's because I don't really want any of that, and nor should I be the figurehead of any sort of like activism movement. I'm a white cishet guy. I don't really have like, it's not really my lane to be the face of any of that, but I can facilitate it and use aspects of the the good things that happen, the I guess you call it the privilege of things that I've accumulated over my life, which isn't a lot, but it's enough to be able to do some stuff that's good for people. And the broad goal, the one that I was really talking about, was you need a certain amount of money to do two different things. One, you need a certain amount of liquidity to do a weed co-op, which would be super cool. And that's kind of like, it creates revenue, but also it's a thing that I think is relatively harmless in a community that could use the, you could teach somebody to help farm weed and stuff like that, and you could teach someone to be good at sales, and you could help someone, because like it or not, we are beholden to capitalism while it's here, which will be for our lifetimes, and to help people get jobs in that way. And share the profits of that. Like that, I don't need, that would be ideal. And to expand that into the other activist things that we were talking about. That would be something I wouldn't need like hyper success in, I could be very happy with. Just having that, have it be self-sustaining and being able to help a small amount of people just in this city, which isn't huge. Just in this city, that would be fucking nice. That's my goal, is to just improve lives of people that live here, where I have lived most of my life, on and off. In this area. So do you have any like activism type goals? I know you're working a lot on like personal shit, which is obviously incredibly important.
Sure.
And you might not have the bandwidth for other stuff, but you do stuff for other people. So
I don't know, long term, doing more stuff in like the trans community, particularly maybe helping like younger trans people get access to like information if they need it.
Yeah.
Some sort of like, I don't know, like, I don't know if mentorship would be the right word, but just if they have questions and stuff, to be able to talk to them and be available for people, raising money for people if they like need stuff for medication or other stuff for like a transition fund. I don't know. I think it would be nice, because like the trans community has been, wonderful to me and so accepting since I've come out, and I think it would be nice to be able to give back to the community.
And we have it better than the UK right now, which is shocking. The UK is a fucking shithole right now for that, and that's rough. But housing would be a good thing as well, which is another one of the stretch goals. Kind of, there's a lot of cheap housing around here, and being as ethical a landowner as possible and providing cheap student housing would be super cool. Takes a little bit of equity though, so it's hard to maintain something like that. But cheap housing is definitely something that is on my list, because again, we have double the national poverty rate, and even though property costs are low, people still can't afford to live here, and that's nuts. And shouldn't be the case. We're one of the most affordable communities around, in my experience, and national average certainly. And the fact that we have like people that struggle with that is super disappointing. Not in them, in the system that creates this problem. And yeah, be good. And obviously there are, sadly, not just trans people, but just the LGBT community in general faces homelessness at a higher rate, usually because of shitty families. So wouldn't be the worst thing, although it is, of course, getting more and more accepted. But that's not the bar. The bar is not to get more accepted. The bar is to be accepted. So yeah, that's my other stretch goal. Last question.
Greg Isles asks, okay then, given that you live in the US where cannabis is legal mostly, and I live in the UK where it definitely is not, is it as harmful as the police here seem to think it is? They base their argument on it fueling organized crime and such. How does it affect you health-wise?
So it's only organized crime because you made it illegal. That's like how crime works. You don't have a black market for like cigarettes, really, right? Or a black market for alcohol, really.
There is in some areas, depending on the high cigarette taxes.
Right. And yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, it's not like that big of a thing. And certainly not like crime. Like, it's not illegal to sell. Oh, there's a little bit illegal to sell cigarettes, especially when you're black. Eric Garner is a great example of that. But, it's hard. It's hard to produce some of these things at the rate it is. And really, crime and stuff like that, it's caused by poverty, not by drugs. Like, drugs are just a thing people want, and it's a thing that you can get a hold of. And because most drugs are plants, or made up of chemicals that you can buy and put together, you can make it at home in ways, or at least in an accessible place, and you could distribute it. It's just how it works. Specifically with marijuana, obviously it's a plant, and you can grow it and dry it and sell it to people, and they'll get high and they'll like that and they want that because it's pretty dope. Not for no pun intended, but it's personally, and I smoke weed, but I'm not like stoner culture guy. I don't really like that stuff. It's smoke, or it's vapor, or whatever. It does have health risks, of course.
Sure.
But I mean, like, so does drinking, so does regular cigarettes, so does vaping, like Juul pods and stuff. Like, I'm fine with you having the freedom to choose to do that. It also has, it's not bless you. It's not benign, but it's certainly not like this disaster for your body. Being high feels good. It's nice sometimes. It definitely helps me with things. I don't experience a ton of stress by design, but it helps people with stress, anxiety. It helps people with appetites. If you have, some people might have, if you're on the spectrum, it can help you depending on how that manifests in you. Like, if you have textural problems or auditory problems or visual problems, where things might typically annoy you, that can usually cessate it a little bit. Like it helps my girlfriend. She has texture issues with food sometimes, often, I guess, and it really helps her be a little bit more comfortable with that kind of thing, and it's really nice for her. She doesn't smoke very often. Well, she's never really smoked. More of an edible person, and very rarely. But and these are all broadly anecdotal, but it's one of those things where everybody sort of reports a very similar thing. You can kind of count on it to be like, probably in your lane. I would suggest if you have issues with anxiety or something, that you consult with your doctor and let them know when it's legal that you're going to try to do something, and they might prescribe it or whatever. And I will say, medical weed, A+. If you just want to get fucked up, it's weed. It's not really it's not really something that I regularly use to just be super zonked. But, it's fun sometimes. It's fun sometimes. Yeah. I think if you, like anything, moderation is kind of like ideal here. If you just smoke weed every single day, you're probably suppressing things that you should work on.
Wait, Snoop Dogg lied to me?
He probably lied to you. I would not be surprised that Snoop Dogg has some trauma in his past that is helped by being high literally all the time. How do you feel about weed? I know that you've actually chilled out on it for a while because you're on a path of real medication instead of self-medication.
It's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think it's if humans really like to use chemicals to chill out sometimes, and I think if it's a choice between drinking or smoking weed is probably the healthier choice.
I have a lot of sleep problems, as Hannah has been victim to, and like it does help my sleep problems from time to time. It's wishy-washy. I slept for 3 hours. I couldn't sleep last night. Again, just couldn't do it. Slept for 3 hours. I don't know what it is. I have a lot of problems with that, but it does. What it does do is helps me stay asleep. But I didn't want to do it last night because I wanted to be able to wake up for this. But and I had to do a grocery delivery. But like if I got nothing to do and I am usually burning the candle at both ends, some how do I explain this? Sometimes I can crush naps. And sometimes I just can't sleep for stretches. And it's not like real insomnia. It's like just happens sometimes. I don't know if that's a thing with insomnia. It might be, but it doesn't. Usually, people that report insomnia report like chronic, like year-long problems. I don't know, but my brain goes a bajillion miles an hour, and it never shuts off. But it helps me definitely focus, and shut off that that voice. I also have pretty bad tinnitus. I don't talk about this. I have tinnitus really bad. It like rings all the time. I'm ringing right now if I focus on it for just a second. I
don't think I knew that. Maybe you've told me a long time ago.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's just a thing. I thought it was normal, and then I brought it up, and people are like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, that ring when it's all quiet, or just like right now, you can hear it." I'm like, no, it's like, oh, that's why I need noises around me at all times. To do that. Like if I'm in a quiet room, I can't fucking sleep. I'll just forever. Like coming home from a concert, but just always. Which is so luckily it didn't develop, or it would probably drive me nuts. It was just always been a thing. But yeah, I don't know. There's benefits to weed. Just don't fucking abuse it, and don't don't take too many edibles.
No. That's not a fun time.
That is a great way to have an anxiety attack and throw up all of the things you've ever eaten in your life. But yeah,
true.
I hope you do get legal weed. Legal weed is coming around the corner for America, like as a whole, from federal perspective. So pretty cool. I think probably states will roll it out, but yeah, I have some stock in weed now, so because we're business people. You've had stock for a while. You fucking. Look at you. Look at you. Fucking adult shit over there. I bought stock in Seth Rogen's, though, because fuck Ted Cruz. It was spite adulting, but that's the end. Hannah has to stream now. So go to Hannah Reloaded on the Twitch channel and watch her drink her own gamer pee. That's tea, by the way. We didn't mention that in this video.
Probably good to mention. It's not pee.
I don't want to drink pee.
Me either.
That might be
glad we're on the same page.
Near the bottom of body fluids that I want to drink. Yeah. It's near the bottom.
What's at the top?
What's at the top? The number one body fluid?
Yeah.
Well, I think probably the drinking out of a cup or just like getting in me.
Getting in you. In your mouth.
Oh, it's going to be the grossest answer ever, but I'll give it to you. And we're going to end on this. The last two words you're going to hear out of my mouth for the end of this video is vagina juice.